All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Ergonomics and Wellness, the complementary couple, continuing in our Teams event wellness fair. I'm Fred, if anybody doesn't know who I am with the WDVA, Central Office Wellness Committee. Thank you to Ashley Bauer and Ashwini Sharath from the LNI Department of Occupational Safety and Health um, for sharing their information with us. So right away, I'm just going to turn it over and give the floor to Ashley and Ashwini. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Fred and Grace, for letting us join today and take this moment to learn about these two great topics and how they interrelate. So, what is wellness? Wellness is an active process of being aware and making choices towards a healthy and fulfilling life. Striving to maintain or make small improvements to the 8 dimensions of wellness is the key to our overall health. And the pursuit of continued growth and balance in these 8 dimensions of wellness will lead to a better quality of life. And as you explore each dimension, you can begin to discover how each plays a vital role in being the best you. Previous definitions of wellness define wellness as being free from illness. And with time and understanding of the depth of the subject, the definition has grown to describe wellness as an ongoing process of change and growth. So today we will be mainly focusing on the physical dimension of wellness down there at the bottom left, and specifically regarding your physical body while at work. Now, finding happiness in stress, thriving in stress, and negotiating that messy middle ground at work is another occupational wellness topic that we won't be discussing today. However, ergonomics ties in directly with your physical well-being at work through supporting your body's needs to function more freely and decrease the potential for seemingly benign issues like contact stress or pressure on soft tissues, which have the potential to escalate to more difficult muscle tissue issues. So it is easy to ignore these seemingly benign issues that could eventually lead to something more irreversible with higher degrees of discomfort, like carpal tunnel, back pain, neck pain. And we aim to educate you on the ability to improve your physical well-being while at work through ergonomics, so you can increase your freedom from specific muscle tissue issues like sprains and strains, and more highly have the physical ability to enjoy your hobbies and time outside of work. Now, ergonomics emphasizes the need for a good fit and the complementary between people and their interactions with their work environment. Ergonomics is the ongoing practice of improving those interactions in your work settings, and ergonomics can best be explained through people's interaction with things such as work tools, including instruments and equipment. And right now, you guys must all be in the office, so your instruments and equipment include most likely a desk, chair, monitor, mouse, and keyboard. And the definition of ergonomics proposed to you here is that ergonomics is used to improve purposeful interacting with your work equipment through improved design and setup. So as you can see, ergonomics can also be applied beyond the office and can be anything from a dentist using a toothbrush to the construction of an entire housing complex, from an operator monitoring a display of movements to an entire, say, air traffic control system, any occupation under the sun. And let's see why ergonomics is so important to you. We want to make the argument here that ergonomics complements wellness, but could actually be also considered a component of wellness. Ergonomics could be applied in many different settings beyond work, including at your home, your car, such as setting up your driver's seat and mirrors for long drives, and also your hobbies. But for now, we will concentrate on ergonomics at your workplace. Now, improving ergonomics at work can exceed into supporting other factors of your wellness, so you can have more days doing things you enjoy, or minimizing the more difficult days by not adding more stress to your already difficult day. When your mind is not distracted by discomfort signals that your body is sending to your brain, you are able to think clearer, respond better to challenges at work, and be able to enjoy your life outside of work by not having to feel like you're about to absolutely collapse on the couch after a long workday. I want to emphasize that rest periods are good for your body. So if you need to rest after work, that is a form of wellness too. What I'm not messaging is a sedentary life after work or on the weekends by staying the rest of the day and weekends on the couch with no physical activity, which could contribute to weakening and atrophy of your muscles and impact your health in negative ways. So I want to make that distinction clear. Adding to physical stress can cause the mind to tilt and be inhibited to doing other things, including eating poorly, having decreased patience or prone to irritability and possible anger, and the feeling of being overwhelmed. According to medical research, the majority of working adults experience back pain once in their lives and can admit to feeling like they're operating at half speed, having brain fog, and having all around irritability. Ergonomics is focused on decreasing the chances of this. Here's a little question for you all to think about on our main topic today to help support this getting ingrained into your mind. I think that all of you will slam dunk this question with the upcoming answer. So what is the solution to supporting your wellness while at work? That's right. You are all on the right path. And if this didn't come to your mind, then get ready to more understanding of your own body and how to get your equipment to fit your body instead of having your body to fit around your equipment. Before I said we want to reduce the risk of muscle tissue issues, but let's dive into that a little more. The official term is work-related musculoskeletal disorders, which is a fancy term for strains, sprains, and overuse of your body. Poor setup and poor adjustments that are below the best fit for your body can cause unwanted compression or tension to areas of your body, which include your muscles, tendons, ligaments, and in some cases can interrupt the circulation or blood flow to your tissues. This can cause anything from varicose veins behind the knee to numbness in your toes. The furthest distance from your heart is your toes, and the hardest on your heart to pump blood to that location. Frequency, intensity, and duration exposure, play a role in how badly and ergonomic risk factors can affect us. So when injuries occur, it's usually not just one risk factor. It's it's usually a composition of more risk factors causing tissue damage, multiple risk factors working synergistically against one area of your body. So we're looking at these three: force, posture, and repetition. With forceful exertion, many jobs can affect the human body with high amount of force. You need a small amount of force to squeeze a pen to write or to push the keys on your keyboard. You may not realize this, but some of you may be unknowingly putting extra force through your wrists while typing and extending your wrists, putting extra pressure to the underside of your wrist, and you could feel sore at the end of the day. Now, awkward posture. Let's look at that middle photo. When joints are worked nearest the more neutral position, if you're standing or sitting up straight and in a good, healthy position, moving your body actually requires minimum and has no, requires minimum wasted effort. So this is known as neutral posture. And this person is in an awkward posture and it has higher risk of neck and back strain. Now, let's look at repetition. When we exercise at the gym, we are free to vary our routine and given proper time to heal, muscles tear and grow back stronger. However, most of us are required to perform the same tasks every day when we are at work, and we're not free to vary our routine. We might not notice the effects of repetition immediately from typing repetitively or using the mouse, but over long periods of time, issues can develop if not in good alignment and not given rest and have high repetition. And this is why an average estimate of carpal tunnel syndrome takes about 10 to 20 years to develop. It is a gradual onset from poor ergonomic risk factors. The things that matter most about the risk factors are frequency, intensity, and duration. So as an example, if you don't do the task very often, it may not be a big deal, but if it happens a lot, it can be a big problem. The intensity has to do with how much force you have to apply or to what degree of bending you may have, such as in bad posture. And the duration is for how long you're doing it. So if you're only doing it for a little while, it may not make any difference. So these all come into play here. Now, even if you can't get rid of your risk factors, maybe you could reduce some of the frequency or reduce some of the duration, and that way you might not be able to, or sorry, you might be able to make it not so bad. And over to you, Ash.
Thanks, Ashley. So now let us look at what's the best way to set up your office, right? Just some quick points. Maintaining a neutral posture is something that's recommended. That means having your shoulders relaxed, low back is supported, it has a neutral spine curve, head is at level with your screen, wrists are straight and not bent, and of course, feet are supported and flat on floor. Next slide. So when you begin setting your office, you first start off with setting your chair. And you do this by sitting all the way back in your chair so that your back is supported. Adjust the height of the chair slowly until your feet are firm on the floor. You also want your hips slightly, just a tiny bit higher than your knee level. Adjust the seat pan depth. The seat pan can move forward and back. So adjust the seat pan such that there is about 2 to 3 fingers gap between the back of your knee and the edge of the seat. You can also adjust the firmness of the lumbar support. Now, lumbar support is a small knob on the back of your chair on the lower part. It basically just helps give more support to your lower back. Now, some chairs don't have this. You don't have to worry about it. But if your chair does have the lumbar support, then you can just either tighten it or loosen the support to whatever feels comfortable to you. Next, you can adjust the backrest angle on the chair. It is recommended to have just a slight recline in your backrest, about 10 degrees. And then just make sure that the back is supported while sitting in the chair. Now, some chairs also have armrests and some do not, like mine in this photo. So if your chair does have an armrest, make sure it fits you well. It does not bump into the desk. The armrests basically are there on the chair so that it supports your elbow, keeps your elbow right next to you, and just keeps your shoulder in a relaxed position. If you do think that you don't really use them or don't need them, you can simply just unscrew them, from beneath the chair and just remove them. It's not necessary; it has to be there. But if it's there, you can follow the tips what I provided. Next slide. So while setting your desk, the key feature to look at is adjustability. So that being said, it is possible to work at both an adjustable desk or sit-stand desk, or you can also work at a fixed desk. However, just you have to keep in mind that you will have to add more movement to your workday if you're using a fixed desk compared to an adjustable desk that provides that extra opportunity to change your position between sitting and standing. So let's say if you have an adjustable sit-stand desk, then make sure your wrists are straight in line while sitting at your desk. Monitor is at eye level. Thighs have clearance space between chair and desk. And so except the thigh clearance, everything else is the same when you're standing at your desk. So the same monitor is at your eye level and wrists are straight in line with the desk. And I will also be talking more about when exactly to switch between sitting and standing in the next couple of slides. Next slide. So with keyboard and mouse, the goal here is to have straight, flat wrists, not resting on sharp edges of your desk. Elbows and forearms are in straight line with the keyboard. Your keyboard and mouse should be at your elbow height, and shoulders are recommended to be in that relaxed position while operating them. Make sure your keyboard is on a platform that is stable and the mouse is located right next to the keyboard. So when you're operating the mouse, you're not really reaching far away. And it is important to remember that one size does not fit all. So your computer mouse should have a really good shape, size that fits your palms. You don't really want to be gripping too tight while operating the mouse. Next slide. Next is monitor placement. It is recommended to place your monitors so you can keep your head at level while looking at them. Make sure when you look straight ahead, your head is not tilted, neck is not bent forward or backward. Your eyes are looking at top 1/3 of the monitor. However, if you do wear bifocals or any type of progressive lenses, it is recommended to adjust your monitor height to your eye's focal point. If you do have a single monitor, place it right in front of you. If you have two monitors, it depends on which is your primary monitor. So let's say your primary monitor is the one you use 80% of the time, then you place it right in front of you. And then the second monitor would be at an angle to the primary monitor, just like the image on the bottom. And if you're using two monitors equally, let's say 50 and 50%, then you're just keeping it right next to each other, like the image on the top. Also, there should be an arm's length distance between your position and the monitor, and this is good for both sitting and standing. And also, it's best if you can increase the font size on your monitor to reduce that, leaning over to see the screen. Next slide. So while working on laptop, the goal is to keep your head and neck in a neutral posture. If you are using your laptop at your office or let's say at home, maybe on a kitchen counter or just even as a second screen in combination with your monitor, make sure it's always on a laptop stand. This will definitely help reduce leaning forward or just looking down at your laptop. And it is important to note that whenever your laptop is on a stand, you have to use an external keyboard and mouse so that you're not really having that awkward posture, right? Raised elbows and shoulders. You don't want that risk. So just make sure that you have an external keyboard and mouse when your laptop is on a stand. Next slide. So there are three reach zones. One is for usual work, the other is for occasional work, and the last one is the non-working area, which obviously means that you don't use that area for work because it can promote you to excessively reaching or bending. So the goal here is to keep things you use most often closer to you. So your mouse and then keyboard will be in the usual work zone. Your pens, papers, phones, or let's say document holder, that will be in the occasional work zone. Next slide. So until now, I gave examples of how to set your office right and some solutions and best practices. So in this slide, there are a list of few accessories which can be used only if needed. So I'm saying this because sometimes people tend to get overwhelmed with all these fancy office products around them and they want to use everything. However, I would recommend that you use these accessories only if you need them or if it really helps you to work comfortably. So, for example, there are document holders. If you do read documents and if you type simultaneously, this can be very helpful. And then footrests, which can help your feet stay firm on and not really hanging. And this can be used just after making adjustments to your chair and desk. And then keyboard trays, it can be helpful when your desk is fixed and your elbows are not really straight in line, like I spoke about. Or if your shoulders are raised, you can maybe use a keyboard tray, lamps for having better lighting at your office, computer glasses if you do want to avoid that blue light emitted from digital screens, headsets to talk on the phone without really having that awkward neck posture, and also cord holders if you want to maintain all those wires coming from the devices on your desk. Next slide. So when it comes to switching between sitting and standing position at your desk, it is good to sit for about 20 minutes and switch to standing around 8 minutes, and then move around or do stretching for about 2 minutes. And this is in a span of 30 minutes. Again, this is not a hard rule you have to follow, but the entire goal here is to kind of add movement to your day and not really, sit at the desk for really, really long time, because you don't want that sedentary posture. You want to add movement. So yeah, so this is not a really mandatory rule that you have to follow 20 minutes of sitting and 8 minutes of standing and then 2 minutes of stretching, but then just make sure that you're adding movement to your day. Next slide. So the next best option would be to, go for walks or, on your longer breaks or shorter breaks. If you're at home, maybe indulge in gardening, or if you have pets, take them for a walk, and that way you're adding more movement. There are many break reminder software applications on phone and computers, and all they do is just, they pop up on your screen, kind of reminding you to take a break. Some of them even kind of blank your monitor screens or phones so that, it kind of pushes you to get out of the chair. So you can install these break reminder applications. If you do wear a fitness watch, then you can also follow those movement reminders to just add that extra bit of movement in your day. Next slide. So to summarize our presentation today, I would like to end it by mentioning that ergonomics is a part of or a slice of wellness pie that has a huge impact on your daily routine and physical well-being. So following good ergonomics at your office and good posture in your day-to-day life basically helps improve productivity at work, and we do believe that it promotes better work-life balance. Next slide. So if you want to learn more about ergonomics, visit our website. L&I provides free of cost consultation assessments for your workplace. So all you have to do is contact us at ergonomics@lni.wa.gov, and we will be happy to assist you. Thank you so much. And it's time for any questions.
Well, I don't I don't think anybody's popping up with any questions, but if Ashley and Ashwini are available to stay on and people do start asking questions, please feel free to do so. I wanted to say thank you very much for the presentation. I think a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of information out there to help them with their office settings, and it really, really does work within the program to get in there with the ergonomics for our home offices, especially. But thank you very much. The next session, I believe it's the last session of the day for our virtual wellness fair, will be at 3 p.m. and the topic is going to be Meet Olympia's Local Food Co-op. Grace will be hosting that one. If you have any feedback, I will make sure I post that in the link over here. So there's the form. So if you have any feedback for today's session, we appreciate it. Please use that form. Once again, thank you very much, Ashley and Ashwini. It was great having you share that information. So, and that's it. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to stay on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. You bet. Thank you. Okay. Ashley, Ashwini, I did have a question I meant to ask. So I know you guys do work, you do the work ergonomic stuff, but did you have a resource or link for, say, outside activities? Like Ashley, you mentioned the car and stuff like that. Did you have any links for that that we could share with people maybe?
Yeah, on our website, lni.wa.gov, if you
Mm-hmm.
search LNI for ergonomics,
Okay.
you can go to the left-hand screen and we have something called the Ergonomics Bank. And that
Ergonomics bank.
has a search engine option where you can kind of enter in any work that you're doing or hobby that you're doing, and it can list checklists, tips and tricks, or any other
Okay.
kind of informational sheets that can help you with that particular task or job or hobby.
Okay.
And so mainly we focus on work. So what is your idea of a hobby that you may be asking in terms of ergonomics?
Well, I mean, I was just throwing it out there because, I mean, some of us go do all these adrenaline junkie stuff like ATVs or even hike. We promote hiking and we promote, all the different obviously sports and activities and everything. So that's what sort of brought my mind to it is like, well, because I just bought an ATV and I'm doing the safety course and everything. I mean, I grew up riding them, but still do the safety stuff just because, well, it's a free course that Polaris gives me. But no, I fly fish, I golf, I, um, do that kind of activities. And I know other people do a lot of other different activities um, that ergonomics do apply to. And ergonomics is an insanely great thing to avoid injury. Um, so that's why I was just sort of asking if, you had a resource for that. But that's great because I can share that with everybody and say, hey, in your off time activities, you may want to look at this. Because I don't think a lot of people think about that very much. You know what I mean? So they think about just work ergonomics, but they don't think about, hey, I need to apply this to all of my activities in life, probably. So,
Oh, agreed, Fred. What's interesting, I know for bicycle shops, they'll get you adjusted because you don't want to put a ton of your weight leaning forward onto your handlebars. And you
right,
can kind of feel the difference depending on your body size if you're kind of scrunched up or your handles are too far away. I
right,
don't know for Polaris if they have any kind of adjustability with their drivers uh, steering wheel
right,
or
right.
their seat. But the best thing to look at firstly is the adjustability of any kind of especially cost loving hobby you may have.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a really great thing that Claudia posted. She's also from Illinois on ergonomics for driving, and that could be mainly truck driving, or even we do a lot of work with the police, and they have computers and other tools set up uh, in their Ford Explorers and whatnot. But the basics, and I should say the rules of ergonomics applied to driving are embedded in the focus of keeping neutral positions. And so there's some good examples that I think you'd be able to derive from this link. But in terms of Polaris, I would call them and see if there's any adjustability that could be done to your driver's seat.
Yeah, there's nothing. I was just throwing that out there as an example, but I love that you guys shared the driving one, because obviously we have truck drivers and bus drivers, and our staff, all the way from the director on down to the lowest level, they drive TDY when they go across the state or whatever, and it's a 6-hour haul across state, so that's a considerable amount of time to be sitting in a vehicle. So that's why I'm sure Crystal liked it, so I'm sure that she's probably grabbing that to share with our driving program and stuff like that. So that'll be good. Because I'm a retired MP out of the Army, 25 years. So I know the importance of the setup. I know the importance of the setup in the vehicles and everything. It's a lot of windshield time. And so it's important to have good posture and settings when you're in a vehicle. But I greatly appreciate it. So that's awesome.
Definitely, Fred. Thank you. And thanks for having
Yeah.
us. And please invite us back next year for
Yeah.
your next fair. And thank you for working with us.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
So,
Fred.
yep, you bet. Hopefully everybody has a
great
great rest of their. Yep, you too. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.